close.
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Andrew?
I'm wonderful. I just wanted to interview you today and see your life, your experience in the workplace, what you
Mhm.
can help me achieve in the future, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, how are you today?
I'm doing well, just a little chilly outside. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm glad
Good.
to see you, and I'm glad that I can interview you today.
Mhm.
How long have you worked at Kishwaukee College?
It would be about 2 years now. In July, it will be 2 years.
All right, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
What degrees or license did you have to get to be this far in life?
Oh, so I have a bachelor's of science degree in political science, and then a master's degree in English literature. I don't know if any of them brought me here exactly, but that's what I've got. Um, yeah, those are the two things I did. I don't think I have any licensing or anything like that, but um, those two degrees brought me here to Kish, really.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
Who makes the hiring decisions?
The hiring decisions here at Kish.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it goes by from department to department. So this is actually a good day to ask this. Actually, I was just talking about this earlier today, but so our department, we have tutors, and then we have our professional tutors, and then we have our leads, and all those people are kind of go through different hiring processes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there is generally like a search committee. For my position, it would be like a search committee. There'd be about 3 to 4 people on it, and they would be searching together for the right candidate. But generally, the person who would be the superior of that person in Kish would be the person who would make the ultimate decision about who gets hired here. So, for example, for me, that would be Frances Whaley, who would be my supervisor. And people at my level in the tutoring services, they would be, that hiring decision would be made by Frances. And then also the tutors would get Frances would get the final say.
All right, that sounds nice. I'm glad she hired you.
Thanks.
If someone wanted to start this career fair, start in this career fair, what advice would you give them, as
I
you were taught?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that it would be important to follow your passions. If this is something that you're really, really passionate about, is helping students, engaging with students, being in an academic setting, be engaged with the academic setting. Like, try to figure out how all these pieces fit together. Be open to communicating with people at other departments. Read the research, get on email listservs, and really, immerse yourself into it. And I think that passion is what drives people to see potential in you, and ends up you getting hired in places.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Okay. What soft skills do you look for in potential employees?
Oh, so I would say kindness, kindness, empathy, especially in a field like tutoring services. Kindness is very, very important to meet our students where they are, to engage with our students where they are, and to have empathy for where they're coming from. We don't know our students' backgrounds, we don't know their full story, but what we can do is that while they're in this space, we be kind to them, and then also be good listeners, make sure we're asking the right questions to help them guide themselves in getting the right answer. I think it's important that we're asking the right questions to our students and making them feel appreciated in our space.
Hmm.
And then also being knowledgeable about the content that we're tutoring. So, for example, I do academic stuff, so I would hope that I'm staying on top of things, making sure that I'm on top of the latest research and content for that. And then, yeah, I think that's what I would mostly focus on, is the knowledge, and then also the kindness aspect to it as well.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's what you guys taught me when I first introduced myself here. So that's a good thing.
Yes.
That is. What soft skills do you... Okay, I already did that one. I'm sorry.
No worries.
How long is your average work day?
I work generally from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple days in the week that I work from 8:30 to 4 p.m. But usually it's around 7.5 hours is my work day.
All right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Do you like working those days?
I do. It's really nice because I get to work from home on Fridays, so I really, really like that. But I also really like being here in this space. And it's nice to be here from kind of like almost the time that we open to the time that we close. Is nice to see how everything's going and watching everything happen and being here for our students. So do like the work hours. Work hours are nice.
That's understandable. That's pretty good. As long as you feel comfortable with what you have going on. That's all that matters.
For sure. And then weekends off is so nice too.
That is nice. What is the biggest challenge you face in the course of work? Good question.
Oh, the course of work. I would say juggling all the different things that have to get done within a week, a semester, a day. There's lots of different deadlines. So for pulling data, we have to make sure that what the decisions that we make for next semester is based on the data that we pulled from this semester. And so looking at that data is very time sensitive. So making sure we're pulling it on time, and then reporting it correctly and sending it to the person who can help us pull different reports. That's one of that's probably the biggest thing.
Now, does the data reflect on the students or?
So it would not student based really. It would be like, oh, how many people visited in a semester, or stuff like that, or what times did they visit? Do they visit mostly Mondays in the mornings? Do they visit mostly Wednesdays in the afternoon? And then we make decisions about like, okay, well, how are we going to staff for this? How are we going to make those kinds of decisions through the center? Or for like, oh, students really liked using the rooms. Are we going to make them more available? Should we be limiting how much time they could spend in a room to give students more opportunities to spend in the room? So just, lots of decisions based on big numbers, broad numbers. So making sure that gets pulled timely, making sure that, the space is clean because, COVID and safety, making sure our students feel safe in this space. And then we have a different initiative like the embedded tutor program and embedded success coach program, which means essentially someone would be assigned to a classroom, managing that, making sure we're staying on top of that as well. So there's a lot of little projects that go on that we have deadlines for that we want to keep an eye out.
I like that. That's great. What tasks do you accomplish in a typical day like this today or?
Yeah. Okay. So today, what have I done today? Answer emails. I feel like that is I think everyone who works at Kish knows that lots of emails come through. We're all pretty involved with each other, so making sure we're staying on top of emails. I do that every day. Just anything that comes through, I try to at least read it and be ready to respond. Have pinned messages up to make sure that they are going out timely. I do that. That's something I did today. I reach out to students who are about to take their placement exam, and I like to send them resources and remind them that their testing is coming up. So students who take that exam might get a text message from me or an email from me letting them know how to basically study for that exam. So that happens twice a day. And then what else? I would say tutoring students, being around students, that's another thing I get done every day as well. And then on a bi-weekly basis, I do send out like a newsletter to our student athletes. Some marketing stuff needs to go out every now and again. It varies day to day. It's pretty diverse day to day. But I would say those things are like the things that are like every day I have to at least check my email, make sure I'm staying on top of those things, and touch base with students that I'm working with.
Now, can that be hard sometimes for you?
Yes.
It can be hard for you. Okay.
As you may know, I'm not super prompt at responding to emails as I'd like to be. Generally, I like to say 24 hours is my respond time, and then 48 hours I should at least have an update for that person if I haven't responded yet. But that's difficult to keep up with the amount of emails I get, so that's a challenge.
But you do good on that, though.
Yeah.
I know you do.
Thank you. That's so sweet. So being on top of things can be a little difficult, and juggling priorities can be really difficult. Like,
me too.
What takes precedent? What's really important? Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. Figuring it out day to day.
You get it done, though.
Yeah, always. That's,
key goal.
Cross, knock on wood, we get done.
Teamwork, yeah. How do you spend your breaks from work during the day?
Oh, yeah. So generally I have like one break right in the middle of the day. And I take that generally for lunch and like scrolling on Twitter or something like that. Just a de-stress activity. Occasionally I'll bring a video game to play during my lunchtime.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. But I try not to bring too much of that stuff to work because then I get distracted easily and lose track of time. So I try not to do that too often. But generally, I just try to do like a low velocity activity just to de-stress. I have a long drive to and from work it's an hour each way. So music's good for de-stressing. I usually play some soft music in here while I'm eating lunch as well with my door cracked. But a low velocity. When it's spring, I like to eat outside.
Okay. Do you like to eat outside on campus or go
on
somewhere?
campus? There's a beautiful garden like right next to the bookstore. That's so nice. It's very nice.
Do you eat with your friends here or by yourself sometimes?
I just eat by myself.
Oh, that's good.
Though sometimes people stop by, and that's another thing that's great about being right next to the bookstore is you'll see your coworkers walk by and they'll sit with you if they're having lunch as well. But everyone kind of takes different lunch times, so it's hard to make it match up a little bit. And everyone's got different schedules.
Yeah. I like that. Now, what kind of clothes are acceptable for you in the workplace?
Yeah, so I like to wear like cardigans and t-shirts and jeans. It's kind of low velocity here in tutoring services, but prior to this, when I was working in a different department, I would dress up a little bit more, but because this is a little faster paced environment because of the amount of students that are coming in, and also just a more relaxed environment, we go kind of like business casual and not necessarily like business. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you like the dress clothes? Do you think it's a routine here with everybody with dressing?
I think everyone has different variations of business casual. So I think everyone's pretty much on the same page, but some people are more business than casual, and some people are more casual than business, and just wide variety of scale. And I think that's fun because it lends to our personalities as well, so students can kind of tell right off the bat how we are.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now the final question. This is a good question for you. How much time do you spend with your coworkers in general? This is fun.
Oh, yeah. So, again, I think it's day to day. We at least have an hour and a half together every Friday. And that is essentially like our time to catch up with each other, to make a touch point, like, okay, what are you working on? What have we been doing? Is there any problems that have come up this week? So we at least get that once a week. But because our schedules can be so different with us meeting with students, it could be, we see each other 10 hours a week, or we see each other just that 1.5 hours a week. So it just kind of depends.
Okay, so that was it. Thank you for letting me interview you.
Absolutely.
Mrs. Caitlin, you are an amazing person, and
Thanks.
Kish is happy to have you.
That's really sweet. Thank you so much. And I really enjoyed our interview. It was very nice.
Thank you.